Welcome to you in your favorite YouTube channel, Language Guide. I am Professor Balasaheb Rohukle and you are watching a video on My Heart Leaps Up, a poem written by a world famous romantic poet, William Wordsworth. If you are new on the channel, please subscribe it to get the notification of my new video. We are going to study the poem under following 8 points. Number 1, life and work of William Wordsworth. Number 2, English Romanticism and its features. Number 3, chief contributors of Romantic movement. Number 4, the poem My Heart Lifts Up. Number 5, introduction to the poem. Number 6, paraphrase of the poem. Number 7, theme of the poem. And number 8, conclusion. Now, here is the first point, life and work of William Wordsworth. William Wordsworth is the world famous romantic poet of first generation. He was born on April 7, 1770, in the Lake District of northern England. He was the second of 5 children of a modestly prosperous estate manager. He lost his mother Anne in 1778 when he was 7 years old. He lost his father John in 1783 when he was 13. William Wordsworth describes the different periods of his life in his famous work named The Prelude. After receiving a legacy, he lives with his sister Dorothy in Dorset and Lake District. He was died on April 23, 1850 at the age of 80 in Cumberland, United Kingdom. Following are some of the famous poems of William Wordsworth. Lines written by a few miles above Tintern Abbey, The Solitary Reaper, composed upon Westminster Bridge, Daffodils, Ode Intimation of Immortality, The Solitary Reaper, The World is Too Much with Us, The Prelude, and Ode to Duty. Now let us know about English Romanticism and what are its features. In 1798, along with his friend Samuel Taylor Coleridge, William Wordsworth published a book named Lyrical Ballads. It is called the Manifesto of English Romanticism. In the preface of this book, he explains definition, diction, and subject of the poetry. To him, poetry is the spontaneous overflow of powerful feelings. It takes its origin from emotions recollected in tranquility. Simple diction, solitary life, superiority of imagination over reason, importance of imaginations and feelings, idealism, liberty, supernaturalism, escapism, return to nature are some of the main features of romantic poetry. We clearly observe principles of French relation, that is, liberty, equality, and fraternity, in the poems of Romantic age. So far as the age is concerned, it is an age of poetry. William Blake, William Wordsworth, Samuel Taylor Coleridge, Lord Byron, P.C. Bassey Shelley, and John Keats are the major poets of English Romantic movement. Now here is the poem for you, that is, My Heart Lifts Up. The poem contains only 9 lines. My heart lifts up when I behold a rainbow in the sky. So was it when my life began. So is it now I am a man. So be it when I shall grow old, or let me die. The child is father of the man, and I could wish my days to be bound each to each by natural piety. Now let us know about the poem. The poem My Heart Lifts Up was written in March 26, 1802. William Wordsworth wrote it while he was staying at Dove Cottage with his wife. It was first published in 1807. It is a short lyric of 9 lines. In it, the poet recollects his childhood days' experience. It gives his emotions and feelings a meaning. Being a nature poet, he depicts his love, importance, and attitude towards the nature. It narrates that nature plays the role of nurse, teacher, guide, philosopher, and source of perpetual delight. The poem describes the pure delight the speaker feels upon seeing a rainbow in the sky. It comments on place of nature in human life. It connects poets past, present, and future. Now let us have to study the poem according to the paraphrase, line by line. Now here is the first line. In the first line, the poet says, My heart lifts up when I behold. Officially, the poem is untitled. It is also called Rainbow. The first line of this poem is considered as the title of the poem. It plays a vital role in setting up the whole poem. It indicates that the poem is going to explain the joyous leap of the speaker's heart. Here, the poet personified the heart. The reader fails to understand the reason of leaping the heart until he gets to the next line. Here, behold is a pretty majestic word used by the poet. It means to observe something. Thus, it hints the reader that he is going to see some majestic sight. The second line of the poem runs, A rainbow in the sky. When we read the second line of the poem, we get the answer of our doubt. The line answers the question why the speaker's heart lifts up, means delights, springs with delight. Until we read this line, we fail to understand meaning of the first line. Here, the poet uses enjambment. The enchanting sight of the rainbow appeals to our eyes. The line ends with a colon. It means that what follows is probably related to it. In the third line, the poet says, So was it when my life began. It means in this line, the poet creates a sense of time in this poem. The poet recollects the experience of his childhood. Like present, it gives the poet joy in the past, means at his childhood. It means the beautiful sight is not new for the poet. It gives his emotions and feelings a meaning. It shows poet's attachment with the nature. In the fourth line, the poet says, So is it now I am a man. The meaning of this poem, this line is continuation of the thought expressed in the third line of the poem. The speaker is now a mature adult. He still gets excited by the sight of the rainbow. Thus, his present is the reflection of the past. By heart, the poet is still a child. In line number 5 and 6, The poet says, "So be it when I shall grow old, or let me die." After referring the past and the present, the speaker, that is the poet, turns to his future. He wants to enjoy the enchanting sight of the rainbow in his future. The sixth line describes the importance of nature in human life. According to the poet, life is meaningless or futile unless we reap the delight in natural beauty. He prefers to die without the capacity to appreciate nature's beauty. The line ends with exclamation mark. It means the speaker wants to emphasize his point. The seventh line of the poem, which is the very important line of the poem, and we can say it is the main summary of the whole poem. Here, the poet says, "The child is father of the man." The line is a quotable quote of the poem. Here, the poet shifts his attention from the rainbow to human life. It is an example of a paradox. The contradictory statements expands beauty of the poem. The statement makes a contextual sense. The speaker wants to say that adult is the product of child. Present and future is the result or outcome of the past. Here, Wordsworth purposefully uses capitalization of the words child and man. He wants to draw our attention to the general truth. The line consists a wider meaning. In the last two lines, the poet says, "And I could wish my days to be bound each to each by natural piety." Here, the speaker wishes his forever attachment with the nature. He wants to bind it with the natural piety. He wants his days to be tied together by worship and devotion towards the nature. The lines put the rest of the poem in context. The wonderful rainbow, which thrills the speaker, is an example of natural piety. The lines conclude with the argument. The poet therefore concludes wishing that his days should be bound to each period of life by natural way with divinely pleasure. Now I come to the next point, that is the seventh point of our video, and that is the theme of the poem. Source of boundless joy, intimate relationship with nature, response or love for nature, intense and sincere love of nature, the pure enthusiastic reaction to the natural world are some of the notable themes of the poem. And at conclusion, we see the poem covers the range of human life from childhood to adulthood and adulthood to an old age and old age to death. The poem is written in a blank verse. ABCC, ABCDD is the rhyme scheme of the poem. Personification, extended metaphor, paradox, symbols, natural imagery decorate the beauty of the poem. The simple diction touches to our hearts. It is also a philosophical poem. It opens with the present tense. Though it is personal, it has a universal experience. It shows how the poem is interesting. I hope you like the video. Please like and share the video. Thank you to spare time with me.